So what I wanted to show you is just how you can flip a seam if you've got a seam like this that's twisted. So you can see that this is flipped over to the left here, and if we go around here, that's also flipped to the left. So if you try and flatten the seam down, you're going to have a twist in it. Now, why do you have to worry about twisted seams? Well, there are two main reasons. One is you just get these lumps and bumps if your seams are twisted. And the second reason is that if you like to do stitch in the ditch, it's really tricky to see which side of the seam you should be on because it will swap about from one side to the other. Having said that, I would say the majority of the first quilts I made have got twisted seams. So it's just something that's an improvement that you can make as you get better at quilting. But I think it's definitely worth taking a few moments on each seam to flip them over if they were twisted. So what I'm going to do to untwist this seam is I'm going to just nip out a couple of threads here. You can see I've sewn this in black thread just so that you can see what I'm doing. Then you're going to flip your seam over to the way you want it to go so that it will all sit nice and flat. And at this point, it's probably a good idea to stick a pin in to just hold it down. Now, all you need to do is to sew from this point here and back down to this point here. So the most important thing is to get your needle into the seam here, exactly where the stitches are already. If you miss and you're over here, you'll get a little pleat. The way I do that is I put it underneath my machine and then I turn the wheel manually. So I turn my wheel and I'm looking at the needle and I can see that it's going down spot on into those stitches. And so then I can press my needle down, my foot down, and then all I have to do is sew those few stitches over and just make sure I land up on top of the stitches from before, and 3 or 4 stitches across will hold it. And there we go. So there we go. That's got rid of my twist. Now if I turn the block over, you can see, so the seam is sitting over to this side, and when you're sewing you just sew straight down and you don't have to jump over from one side to the other.